Thank you for joining us today for TravelStore's Romance in Travel video podcast to South Africa. A special thank you for our TravelStore clients. Your trust and support means everything to us. And if you are new to TravelStore, welcome. Please join us and find out how we can enrich your lives with our special travel touch. My name is Florence, and here at TravelStore, I manage the amazing honeymoon and destination weddings division. My team and I, of course, have a passion for travel, but we prefer it with a little hint of romance. The Romance and Travel video podcast series started earlier this year, and each month we travel our worlds to find out the most romantic travel experiences it has to offer. We already traveled to many great destinations such as Tahiti, Kenya, Costa Rica, the Caribbean, and more. And all the recordings of those podcasts on our website at travelstore.com on our Talking Travel page. So it's a great source of information. Please go and visit this page or even send the link to your friends and family members. So today we are going to explore a very dear destination to my heart, South Africa. Personally, I fell in love with Africa in South Africa. Many years ago, I was into discovering the southernmost destinations our world has. And of course, Cape Town was on my list. Little did I know that South Africa would take my breath away. The kindest people, the most beautiful coastline, the most vibrant cities, the most amazing history and culture, and of course, a unique nature and wildlife. South Africa has so much to offer. So I came back home forever changed, an avid photographer, and of course, I wanted to go back to Africa again, which I did many times over. All right, so today, again, a little reminder that if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A box. And my colleague Katie here, hi Katie, she'll pick a few to address live during the podcast. And for all of the questions, we'll send you the answers after the event. All right, so talking about Katie, here she is. I am so happy she's here with us today. I cannot count how many times Katie has traveled to Africa. She's one of our top Africa specialists here at TravelStore, and she's going to introduce us to our phenomenal South Africa travel partners we have here today. Hi, Katie.
Hi, Florence. Thank you. I am often asked, where is my favorite place to travel? Invariably, it is Africa. One of my favorite quotes is from Hemingway. He wrote, "I never knew of a morning in Africa when I woke up and was not happy." It's exactly how I feel. Today, we are traveling vicariously to one of the most beautiful countries, South Africa, guided by one of our best partners, Mikado Safaris. It is my pleasure to introduce our guides. Chris Collette, the General Manager of South Africa for Mikado, based in Cape Town. Brian Nell, Safari Guide, also in Cape Town. He handles the logistics of the guests he escorts on the safaris in Southern Africa. Ariel Spodek, Safari Specialist based in New York City. She plans custom safaris in Africa and took her own honeymoon on a Mikado safari. It is my great pleasure to introduce our very special guest and my friend, Anna Pinto. Anna is the Executive Director of Mikado based in California. She's a member of the Pinto family who owns Mikado Safaris. She oversees the national sales team. Anna, please join us and tell us a bit about yourself and how you grew up in Africa.
Thank you, Katie. It's my pleasure to be here with you today. My parents, Felix and Jane, started Mikado over 50 years ago. They love Africa and wanted to show you their continent. Africa is in our DNA. It's a family affair. My brother, Dennis, and his wife, Joy, reside in New York and are an integral part of the business, spending at least a month a year in Africa, along with their children, Sasha and Tristan, who are finishing up at university at Brown and Yale. And we hope, like my brother and I, will decide to join us in the family business. I was fortunate enough to grow up in Africa and had the pleasure of being raised by a village. We lived on a farm adjacent to a Narrabee National Park and often had wild animals walking through the property. I had an array of pets, and at one time I even had 15 dogs, all rescues, all shapes, colors, and sizes. Dogs are a favorite meal for leopards, so every night at dusk, my mother had the task of corralling and bringing all the dogs inside. I think one of my favorite pets that we had on the farm was a giraffe, a gentle, kind, friendly, and most curious animal. It was a child's dream to have her own Noah's Ark, and I did. Needless to say, I was an extremely popular child with lots of friends wanting to come and spend the weekend with me. Romance and Mikato are inseparable, and being one with nature, with the open spaces, the spectacular lush vineyards, the beautiful scenery, the incredible rich wildlife, and the constant ever-changing landscapes. And in a few minutes, Chris and Brian will elaborate in more detail. Katie once asked me, what was the most romantic thing you've ever done on safari? And I would have to say, sleeping in a star bed. It really is one of the most romantic things I've done. To be out there in the wilds, in the middle of nowhere, to smell and hear nature at its most natural, it's quite extraordinary. An amazing feeling that one can't do justice describing. You don't hear police sirens or the sound of cars. There's no television or loud music, or even lights in the distance. All you smell is the raw, fresh earth and hear the sounds of the animals, the trumpets, the chirping of the birds, the roaring of the lions from 10 miles away, yet it feels like they're only a few feet away. It's amazing how sound carries. The sky is clear and the stars are bright, and they feel really low, like you can actually grab them. It's truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience and really very romantic. So don't take too long. Space is being gobbled up. You might have to wait a year to get the camps that you would like to stay in. Call your TravelStore African specialist to discuss a potential safari in the future. And my family and I, along with Chris and Brian and our team, look forward to welcoming you to the wonderful country of South Africa, often called the world in one country. Come and experience it with us.
Thank you so much, Anna. Thank you for introducing us to your wonderful family, and now we're all part of your family too.
You are.
Yes, please take us to South Africa.
Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome again on the TravelStore and Makato journey to sunny South Africa. So flying out of the States, how to get to South Africa, one can go, there's a number of different routes. One can go via Europe, the major cities in Europe. You can go via the UK or even the Middle East via Dubai. And then there's also a direct flight from Atlanta into South Africa. So on arrival in Cape Town, you'll be met airside by a Makato representative. And that's literally as you step off the air bridge, coming off the plane, there'll be somebody meeting you there. And that'll be one of the only people there with a nice big signboard with your name on, because most other people have to get met landside. So your Makato representative will walk you through and assist you at customs. And then, of course, they'll also take you through to the luggage carousel, and they'll have a porter waiting for you there. And from then on, you don't have to worry about your bags. They will be sorted out by Makato. And the only time you'll be with your bags is when you're unpacking and packing. Anyway, so from there you get taken through and you'll meet your safari director, who is like your host and your private concierge for the entire trip. And after the welcomes and introductions, he'll make a short phone call, and that will be to your Mercato driver, who then will bring you the vehicle right next door to the terminal building. And so you don't have to walk all this distance to any parking areas. So once you get into the vehicle, there's Wi-Fi there. If you need to contact anyone back home to say that you've arrived safely, there's connectivity in the vehicle, there's cool drinks and cold waters. And then also we have a snack basket. And as the days go by, that snack basket gets curated towards your taste. So if you prefer healthy snacks, which are sugar-free and gluten-free, those will become more prominent in the basket, and the sweet stuff will get taken out. And that's and also vice versa if you prefer sweet things. So once you're in the vehicle, it's a very short drive through to the winelands. It's about a 45-minute drive. And of course, we send you out to the winelands because it's the perfect place to decompress and just to relax after this long journey all the way from the States. And where better to relax than in an area with beautiful, stunning scenery, extraordinary wines, and great food. So here is one of the properties that we use, the De La Graaf property, and it's situated at the top of a mountain pass called the Helshoogte mountain pass. And of course, that's a local language which means the heights of hell. And of course, this comes from the history of the area when the French Huguenots were settled on the valley on the other side. For them to get their wines to the markets in Cape Town, they had to cross over this mountain range. And back in the day, it was a dangerous trip. Well, it was a difficult trip and a dangerous trip because there weren't any roads and they had to get over these mountains. And of course, in those days, there were lions and leopards, so it was also dangerous. Today, it's just renowned for its beautiful views. So the winelands is not a place just to rest your head. There's all sorts of things to do. And here at the property, the rooms are called lodges, and that's because they set up for privacy, and each lodge has its own private heated plunge pool, of course, with beautiful views. The winelands is also known as the gastronomic capital of South Africa, and the De La Graaf has some fantastic restaurants as well. Of course, the property is situated on a working wine estate. It's one of the leading wine estates in the area, and so of course, right on your doorstep at the property, you can taste an array of beautiful wines. And of course, there's a spa on site, and this is one of our Mercato touches. We know that long haul travel is tiring, and so we book a spa treatment on your behalf, and then you can take a great his and hers massage. My favorite about this property is the artwork. There's an incredible private collection of over 400 art pieces of leading contemporary South African artists. And of course, this is quite common in the wine areas where we have loads of top-end art galleries. Anyway, Ariel has just recently had her honeymoon in South Africa. So I'm going to hand over to her now to talk us through some of her experiences in the winelands.
Oh, fantastic. We're going to hear from Ariel. Hello, Ariel.
Hi everybody. Yes, I was just in the winelands and Cape Town in South Africa this past May on my honeymoon, so I can attest to the fact that the winelands oozed with romance. It's a beautiful locale and it's really a perfect place to enjoy quality time with your significant other. So during our stay in the winelands, we enjoyed multiple wine tastings, one of which was actually a wine and chocolate tasting. I don't know what says romance more than wine and chocolate. If there is something, please tell me. It was so delicious, and it was really interesting to see how well certain wines and chocolates complement each other and paired so lovely together. It was overall very yummy. And of course, there are other activities like Chris mentioned and other excursions you can partake in. And this is where your Mikado Safari specialist and your TravelStore Africa specialist would decide which of the many activities on offer best suits your preferences and likes and dislikes. So you can go mountain biking through the towns and the vineyards. You can take leisurely strolls through Stellenbosch and Franschhoek. You can also enjoy a private meal either on the wine estate or within the surrounding greenlands, as pictured here. Or if you so choose, you can have just 3 days of leisure time enjoying the facilities of De La Grave. As Chris mentioned, it's really a stunning property, and the food is absolutely spectacular. It's a beautiful place to relax with your special someone.
Thank you, Ariel. So I'm going to ask you, what was your favorite romantic experience in the winelands?
I'd have to say, as a foodie, that our private meal overlooking the wine estate at De La Grave, that was by far my favorite romantic experience. It was a wine-paired multi-course lunch, and it was just a very long, relaxing, leisurely lunch. And I think about that meal often from time to time.
That sounds good to me too. Okay, do we have a question about the winelands that popped up?
We do. We had some questions that were emailed in, and one of the questions was about, I've heard of some of the wonderful South African wines. Can I buy some wines there, and can I ship them home?
Yeah, I'll take this one. Yeah, absolutely. Our wines are New World wines, and they date back to the French Huguenots. And so there's something for all tastes, whether you like white wine. In fact, on the red wines, we have a unique wine, which is a varietal, which is unique to South Africa, called Pinotage. It's not found anywhere else. But you can buy at all the wineries that you go to. You can buy the wine that you like from the tasting, and you can buy it at the cellar door. And of course, all of the wineries are set up that they would then arrange to get your wines shipped home, and then you don't have to travel with wines in your bags.
Fantastic.
Pinotage. As soon as you said that word, Chris, it brought some memories back.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Yeah. Okay, so I can kind of tell where you're going to take us next, but please go ahead.
Yeah, this is a city I think that a lot of people know. From after enjoying all of that the winelands has to offer, we head off to Cape Town, and here we go to the lady in pink, as we call her, the Mount Nelson Hotel. And this is a fantastic property. It's situated right in the heart of Cape Town, and it's an estate. So even though there's hustle and bustle about, when you're in the property, it's really quiet and serene, and it's right at the foot of Table Mountain. And of course, when you arrive at the hotel, our safari director will have been in contact with your private concierge that is at the hotel, and they will have already pre-checked you in. So when you arrive, all you have to do, you don't have to stand in a queue if it's busy. You arrive, you just sign your room card, and then you get handed your key. And of course, we curate your welcome drink. So whatever you like, if you prefer champagne or even a cup of tea, that's what we'll welcome you to the hotel with. And so for us and for TravelStore guests and Mikado guests, there's none of the generic fruit cocktails that most people receive when they arrive at the hotel. And of course, at the hotel, we have a concierge officer. At all of the leading hotels, we have our own office in the hotel. and that's open to our Makato guests. And we have a help yourself library and a help yourself pantry, and people can come and help themselves. And if you want a book to read, you take it and you take it on holiday with you, and you can pass it forward. And that's open to all of our guests. This is a typical room at the Mount Nelson Hotel, and that's the room after Makato and TravelStore have gotten hold of it and have done one of our special turn downs. You know, and we do these turn downs every night, and it becomes a great surprise for our guests, for them guessing what's going to be next. But whether it's petals across the entire bed, or it's a bath that has been drawn for you and candles put across the room for lighting, this is how our romantic turn downs work. We also have Makato gifts that are part of the turn down, and these gifts are really, you know, thought through. They eco-friendly, they're small so that they can fit in your luggage, but of course, most importantly, we make sure that they are made locally, and they come from people that make them are from previously disadvantaged communities, so that our travel supports jobs. But this was Ariel's room when she arrived for her first turn down at the Mount Nelson Hotel. So again, I'm going to hand over to Ariel to talk more about her romantic experiences when she was in Cape Town.
Yes, thank you, Chris. Cape Town is one of my favorite cities of all time. I could easily spend 2 to 3 weeks or months or years or forever there. It's just amazing. And speaking of the Belmont Mount Nelson, it's a beautiful property with very unique rooms. So they take special occasions into account, and they select the room depending on what you're celebrating. So they specifically chose one of their most romantic suites for our stay with them. And this is yet another instance where your Makato Safari specialist and your TravelStore Africa specialist would let the property know what special occasion you're celebrating, and what, you know, whether it's a honeymoon or an anniversary. And of course, we enjoyed so many various activities and excursions while in Cape Town. There's Table Mountain, and now you can reserve your very own private cable car up Table Mountain. There's also Chapman's Peak Drive and the drive to Cape of Good Hope. And there are so many beautiful roadside settings and beaches that are perfect for a picnic setup, which your safari director will seamlessly arrange for you. And with the mountains on one side and the oceans on the other side, it's just so spectacular, and one of the most romantic places I've ever been to. You can partake in a romantic sunset horseback riding excursion on a Cape Town beach. We also enjoyed a morning helicopter excursion, which is a perfect way to see Cape Town with your headphones on and sitting there with your significant other, overlooking the stunning city. It's just such a romantic way to start the day. And as Chris mentioned, there were so many other surprises in store for us. One evening, our safari director even took us to a speakeasy in Cape Town at the back of a coffee shop. So just leave it to your Makato Safari specialist and your TravelStore Africa specialist. They will blow your mind. Every night we came back to rose petals or a bottle of South Africa sparkling wine with chocolate. There were just surprises left and right. The concierge team really did a fantastic job of making our trip to Cape Town so very special, and I can't wait to go back.
Thank you, Ariel. Oh my God, this helicopter ride over Cape Town looks amazing. Katie, we have a question about Cape Town, actually.
Yes, we do. And I have to agree with Ariel. Cape Town is also one of my absolutely favorite cities. And Makato things have everything. The curated snacks are really cool. And the turn down gifts every night are very special. The question for Cape Town is, what is the weather like, and is it safe? We do get that question often about, is it safe?
Yep, I'll take this one again. Cape Town, to deal with the safe part of the question, Cape Town is like any big city in the world. It has areas that are perfectly safe, and then there's some areas which, we wouldn't be going to. So like any city in the world, if one is aware of one's surroundings, then it is perfectly safe. Of course, there's this extra layer of being looked after in our bubble with your safari director and your concierge guiding and directing you as well. So from a safety aspect, there's nothing to worry about. And then the first part of the question was the weather. So we are very much a Mediterranean style climate. So it's very mild. We don't get very cold winters and we don't get very hot summers. So it's a very comfortable all year round weather destination.
But of course it's reversed, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's reversed to you guys in the Northern Hemisphere. So your summer is our winter and vice versa.
That's right. Okay, thank you, Chris. Please, where are we going next?
Okay, so from Cape Town, we're heading to the northern part of the country, to the Great Kalahari and to Tswalu Private Game Reserve. So Tswalu is home to the big five animals of the lion, the leopard, the buffalo, the elephant, and the rhino. But it's also home to those less sighted and rarer animals like the meerkat, the pangolin, and of course, wild dogs or painted wolves. And then for the romance of the bush and Tswalu, I'm going to hand over to our special safari director, Brian, who arranges many of these moments on behalf of our guests. So Brian, over to you.
Super. Hi, Brian. How are you?
Hi, good day. Welcome to Makato's Africa. Yes, the Kalahari is exceptionally romantic. First of all, it's completely in a remote part of the country, so it's extremely quiet. And when you go there, we engage all your senses. We take all your senses on vacation with you, and we help you fall in love not only with your significant other, but also we start a new romance with Africa for you. So we'll set you up on a romantic spot. We'll either do a picnic during the day, or if you're going to do one of the star beds that Anna was talking about earlier, we'll engage all your senses. At sundown or in the evening, you're more likely to get a gin and tonic. You'll taste your icy drink. As you smell the nature around you, you'll see the red Kalahari Desert fade into sunset, and then you'll see the millions of stars above your head. As you hear the hyenas calling in the distance and you feel the temperature drop, and you realize you're in a really unique part of the world. And it is incredibly romantic to be so far from anything and to share it with your significant other. It's an exceptionally romantic experience, which we love setting up for all our guests.
Brian, tell me a bit about this sundowner. Was it born in South Africa? Is it from Africa?
Yes, the gin and tonic tradition was started in Makato's Africa, and it came from, at sunset, there are supposedly more mosquitoes, but progressively we're seeing less and less mosquitoes. But at one time, people were concerned about mosquitoes, and the counter to mosquitoes was to take quinine, which was found in tonic water at one stage, but it was so bitter, the British added gin. And so at sunset, you are supposed to take your gin and tonic as a malaria medicine. And although we haven't seen too many mosquitoes lately, we've seen a lot of gin and tonics at sunset. So there is
That's
truth
for
to
sure.
the story.
There's no mosquitoes. There's a lot of gin and tonic.
A lot of gin and tonic, and we have them at sunset, and it's supposed to be medicinal.
Fabulous. All right, Katie, do we have a question for Brian?
Yes, we do. And I will say I've done some gin tasting in South Africa, and they've got some pretty awesome gins. The question that came in is about food allergies, because people are concerned when they go stay in these remote camps How do they handle food allergies? What are the options and what kind of food will there be?
So once your TravelStore African specialist has sent you to Makata, we would have been given a list of allergies. We will then forward these to the properties, as well as the safari director will keep the list of these with him for your curated snacks. Once we arrive at the various lodges, one of our first tasks is to have a consultation with the chef, with the sommelier, with the butler, to make sure that all of the checks and balances are in place, and that you are not only avoiding your allergies, but that you are personalizing your menu to your own tastes. So we do take great care of that.
I like a personalized menu.
So do I.
Yeah.
And it's good to know that we can do that in South Africa. All right, thank you, Brian. Chris,
You're welcome.
what surprise do you have for us? Where are we going?
Okay, so our next romantic surprise is we're off to Tengile River Lodge, and from Tswalu one flies via Johannesburg, and one changes planes in Johannesburg. But there, once again, our meet and assist person walks you through everything that is needed, and puts you on the next plane, and off you go to the Sabi Sands Game Reserve, which is in the Kruger National Park. And of course, this area is renowned for big cats, and it's fantastic game viewing here. It's also home to the Big Five, and just incredible experiences to be had. On arrival, you are met by a lot of singing and dancing and happy faces, making you feel really very welcome and at home. And here is your room. That's not the entire lodge, but that's just the room. And of course, it's fantastic because if you're wanting to spend time, private time with your other half, or your these rooms are fantastic. So they're massive, and they're located right on the river. So one can also have animals coming to drink at the river, and one can do game viewing directly from your room. I think for the other romantic sides of the safari, I'm going to hand over to Brian again.
Yes, romance and Tengile. Tengile has a beautiful river running right in front of it, which your room overlooks, but so does your spa. So in your spa, you can have a couples massage while overlooking the river, and just in case some special animal sightings are taking place, you can witness them right from the luxury of your spa bed, getting your couples massage. We still do sunsets and picnics out there, and except that now we'll do them on islands in the river. We'll do them on some islands in the river, and also on the riverbed overlooking the Kruger National Park, watching animals traverse the Kruger National Park into the private game reserve where you are. So yeah.
Fantastic. So Brian, let me ask you, as a safari director, what is your favorite romantic experience you've ever created for your Mikato clients?
A private picnic on the top of Victoria Falls for an anniversary.
Oh, wow.
That was truly special, absolutely. And we first took the couple over who was celebrating a 50th anniversary, and an hour later we brought the family as a surprise to join them.
Oh, wow. That sounds amazing.
Yes. Yes.
We have another safari question for Brian.
Yes, the concern is the water in camps safe to drink? And the second question is about what kind of camera? So I'm giving you two questions. What kind of camera do you recommend, and is the water safe to drink?
The water is most likely safe to drink, but we want to err on the side of caution. And to this end, we have your choice of water, be it still, sparkling, or flavored. We'll have it on hand either at your hotel, in your vehicle you're traveling in the safari vehicle you'll be in, or wherever you find yourself. We'll have your choices of bottled water, which we would prefer you drink, because we just don't know how you would adjust to the waters. But the water is safe to drink if you needed to. And then in terms of the camera, if it's your first time on safari and you're not quite depth with cameras, what we suggest is a fixed lens autofocus option with a very strong zoom. And with that, you should do very well. And failing that, your safari director also carries cameras with him, for which he documents all the animals you've seen, some of the experiences you're going to have, and then we provide you with these pictures at the end of your trip on the way home. So when you're flying home on the flight, you can look at your safari director's pictures and see if he was a better photographer than you or not. So I hope that
Okay, that's good to know. That's really wonderful to know, because sometimes not the best photographer here. Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
What an amazing South Africa itinerary. How would you suggest to end this?
Well, Florence, there's so many beautiful places really close by to South Africa. You know, one can add a post trip on, and really these places, you know, Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Zambia, are a short flight away. So it really is worthwhile considering. Be it Victoria Falls, and it seems to be Victoria Falls, as Brian's story is a magnet for romance, people renewing their vows, people getting married at Victoria Falls, and then the river itself. There's so many different activities that take place on the river that get curated to individuals' preferences. And then there's also the Okavango Delta, which is in Botswana, and that's an amazingly unique way to do a safari. It's boat-based, and you'll have in this dugout Makora, you'll have a polo who pushes you along these waterways, and that's how you go and do your game viewing. So really there is many options to add on to an incredible South Africa trip that has romance at its heart.
Thank you so much, Chris. Okay, I think it's time for us, Katie, to review the travel requirements to travel to South Africa.
Right, so it's not hard. Your TravelStore Africa specialist will go over all of the requirements with you, and we'll go over it again with our Mikado specialist so that we don't miss any requirements. Everyone is required to get a COVID test, PCR test before departure. It is important that you print that and take a printed copy with you. You also need to take a printed copy of your itinerary, and you fill out an online traveler health questionnaire. While you're on safari, you'll wear your face mask when you're around other people or in public areas, not necessary outdoors, or if you're in your own vehicle. And they do temperature checks and hand sanitizer every time you come in and out of anything. So it's very well organized. The benefit of Mikado is you have your safari director with you. That safari director is going to handle any bit of the logistics. He'll arrange your test you need before you come back home, and it makes it very easy.
Oh, that's great to hear. Thanks, Katie. Okay, I'm super excited because we have a couple of minutes left for extra Q&A. And I'm going to start with one that just came in because it goes with what we were talking about. The Mikado staff, do they wear masks?
I'll take this one. Yes, our Mikado staff wear masks whenever they're out with guests. And that is standard operating procedure for us, and there's no exceptions to that.
That's great to know. Thank you, Chris. Katie, maybe one more question?
I had a question about tipping. Is there a tipping guide? How do we handle tips? That came up.
Ariel, do you want to handle this one?
Absolutely. All gratuities are included with Mikado Safaris. They are handled by us. They're all included, so you do not have to worry about tipping or gratuities while you're on safari with us. It's all taken care of, like most other things on safari with Mikado.
Again, Mikado makes it easy.
What a great peace of mind. That's wonderful. Thank you all so much for being here again today with us. And we hope you enjoy traveling to South Africa with us. Next month, we are going to Croatia and Montenegro. Super excited about that. All right, we would like to leave you with a little African song.